Hello guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today my topic is, don't come back. The hospital corridor was colder than it should have been. Not the kind of cold that comes from air conditioning, but a hollow cold, one that seemed to come from inside the walls, inside the floors, inside the silence itself. The lights overhead flickered just enough to make everything feel unreal, like I had stepped into a place that existed slightly out of time. I stood alone outside the emergency ward, clutching my handbag as if it could keep me grounded. My husband, Ion, had been rushed in 3 hours earlier. Car accident. Those two words echoed endlessly in my head. The doctor who delivered them didn't explain much. He spoke quickly, efficiently, and then disappeared through a set of double doors marked restricted access. I was told to wait. Waiting is the cruelest part of any hospital visit. It strips you of control. You can't help. You can't act. You can only sit and imagine every terrible possibility your mind can create. I stared at the wall clock. The second hand moved. The minute hand barely seemed to breathe. Around me, other families whispered, cried softly, or stared blankly at their phones. Somewhere down the corridor, a machine beeped in a steady rhythm, too steady, too calm. That was when I noticed her. She stood at the far end of the hallway, half hidden in shadow. A nurse. Her uniform was immaculate, her posture rigid. She wasn't moving, wasn't speaking, just watching. Watching me. I told myself I was imagining it. Stressed as that, fear sharpens things that aren't really there. But when I blinked, she was still standing there. Eventually, she began to walk toward me. Her footsteps made no sound. Up close, she looked older than I first thought, late 50s, maybe early 60s. Silver hair pulled back tightly. Sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her badge read, Head Nurse, Evelyn Hart. You're the wife, she said, not asking. Yes, I replied quickly. Is my husband okay? She studied my face for a long moment, as if deciding how much truth I could survive. He's stable, she said at last. Relief hit me so hard my knees nearly gave way. Can I see him? Another pause. Yes, she said slowly. But only briefly. She turned and gestured for me to follow. We walked down a long corridor I hadn't noticed before. The further we went, the quieter the hospital became. No voices. No carts rolling. No distant coughs or footsteps. Just the faint hum of electricity and the sound of our breathing. I felt like I was being led somewhere I wasn't meant to go. We stopped outside room 417. Before opening the door, Nurse Evelyn turned to me. There are some things, she said carefully, that hospitals are very good at hiding. I don't understand, I said. You will, she replied. Then she opened the door. Ion lay on the bed, pale beneath white sheets. Tubes and wires surrounded him like a fragile cage. His chest rose and fell slowly, mechanically, as if his body needed reminders to breathe. I rushed to his side and took his hand. Baby, I whispered, I'm here. His eyelids fluttered. When his eyes opened, relief washed over his face, just for a second. Then his expression changed. Confusion. Then fear. He stared at me as if I were a stranger wearing someone familiar's face. Ion, I said softly. His lips moved. Nothing came out. I squeezed his hand. It's okay. You're safe. His fingers tightened around mine, too tightly. His grip was cold. Behind me, I felt Nurse Evelyn step closer. Time, she said quietly. But I just got here, I protested. She leaned toward me. Her mouth came close to my ear. And she whispered, don't come back. I pulled away sharply. What did you say? Her face was blank again, professional. Visiting hours are over, she said aloud. We need to move him for observation. That's not what you said, I insisted. She met my eyes. You should go home, she said evenly. Rest. Then she turned away and signaled another nurse. The door to room 417 closed behind me with a soft click that sounded final. Ion was discharged the next afternoon. The doctors called it a miracle. Minimal internal injuries. No brain damage. No lasting complications. He was technically gone for a moment, one doctor admitted casually. But we brought him back. I laughed nervously. You make it sound so simple. The doctor smiled. That's modern medicine. Nurse Evelyn stood nearby, silent. As she handed me the discharge papers, her fingers trembled. Take him home, she said quietly. And listen carefully. I leaned closer. Her whisper was urgent now. Whatever happens, do not bring your husband back here. My stomach dropped. Why? I asked. She swallowed. Because the man who entered this hospital, she said, died on the operating table. My breath caught. But you said, we lost him, she interrupted. 3 minutes. No heartbeat. No breath. Then how is he? Something else answered, she said. Before I could ask what she meant, another nurse called her name. Nurse Evelyn straightened. Go, she said softly. And pray you never need us again. At home, Ion sat silently on the edge of the bed. He moved carefully, like someone wearing a body that didn't quite fit. When I spoke, he smiled, but his eyes never fully focused on me. Do you remember the accident? I asked. He shook his head. What's the last thing you remember? He hesitated. Darkness, he said, and breathing. I smiled gently. That was probably the ventilator. No, he said slowly. It wasn't me breathing. That night, I woke to the sound of footsteps. Wet footsteps. I followed the sound down the hallway, my heart pounding. Muddy footprints led from the bedroom to the bathroom. The mirror was fogged. Written across it, traced by a finger, were 3 words. Don't come back. I turned slowly. Ion stood in the doorway, watching me, smiling, but his reflection in the mirror didn't smile back. It stared at me, and it whispered, too late.